Frontline Updates, where we delve deep into military strategies and updates from conflict zones. Today, we're discussing the progress of the ongoing special military operation as of October 6, 2025. I'm your host, Sharifa Mohammed M.G.T.
I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue defensive and precision operations across all active sectors, combining tactical ground advances with deep strike interdiction using operational tactical aviation, missiles, and drones. Strikes targeted Ukrainian energy and oil facilities, fuel depots, and UAV preparation sites, inflicting significant disruption to logistical and industrial support for Ukrainian forces. Air defense elements maintained high operational effectiveness, intercepting 6 HIMARS rockets, a Neptune long-range missile, and 356 UAVs, reinforcing Russia's layered defense posture against Western-supplied systems.
Welcome to Frontline Updates, the podcast that brings you in-depth insights into military operations from those leading them on the ground. Today, we're joined by Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer monitoring critical missions on the progress of the special military operation as of today. Colonel Oguntoye, thank you for being with us.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Colonel Oguntoye, let's begin with the big picture. What defined the last 24 hours of operations?
The past day was characterized by what we call integrated operational synchronization, ground advances tied closely to long-range precision strikes. Russian forces employed a mix of operational tactical aviation, cruise missiles, and drones, striking Ukraine's energy infrastructure, oil facilities, and UAV assembly and launch sites. Every strike had a strategic purpose: to cut the arteries that feed Ukraine's battlefield logistics. When fuel depots, power nodes, and storage facilities go offline, the front lines begin to starve. Simultaneously, our ground elements advanced across all sectors, taking new ground in the north and solidifying lines elsewhere. This dual approach, deep degradation plus measured tactical progression, defines the current phase of the operation.
Let's start with the north, where we've heard reports of progress in Kharkiv. What happened there?
Yes, the North Group liberated Otradnoye in the Kharkiv region. This was not merely a symbolic gain, it was a tactical pivot point. The settlement anchors a road network that connects to Ukrainian resupply corridors coming out of Sumy. By taking it, we effectively widen our defensive buffer and threaten Ukrainian logistics feeding their northern line. Beyond Otradnoye, engagements continued across Andriivka, Krasnopoli, and Volchansk. Ukrainian units, mechanized, airborne, and territorial defense, sustained significant losses, including artillery and logistics depots. When we destroy ammunition and fuel at the same time as frontline manpower, the enemy's ability to maneuver collapses. Operationally, the North now serves as a stabilized springboard for deeper operations into Kharkiv's defensive perimeter should conditions permit.
Moving westward, Kupyansk, Petrovka, and Yampol, how is that front evolving?
The West Group achieved steady gains, occupying higher ground positions and seizing new observation lines near Kupyansk and Yampol. These seem like incremental moves, but in positional warfare, altitude and line of sight define dominance. We inflicted serious damage on 3 Ukrainian mechanized brigades, eliminating more than 200 personnel and 7 armored vehicles. Equally important were the 6 ammunition depots destroyed. Each depot neutralized is more than a stockpile lost. It represents the shortening of the enemy's endurance timeline. The Kupyansk corridor remains vital to Ukraine's lateral logistics between Kharkiv and Donetsk. As that corridor narrows, the defensive interconnectivity diminishes, and what used to be a single coherent front starts fragmenting into isolated pockets.
Turning to the south in Donetsk, where Russian forces improve tactical positions, what's the significance there?
In the south, operations focused on consolidation rather than breakthrough. Our South Group advanced around Seversky, Reznikovka, and Konstantinovka, engaging Ukrainian mechanized, airmobile, and assault formations. Roughly 225 personnel were lost on the Ukrainian side, along with several armored vehicles and artillery systems. These aren't just statistics, they represent a gradual attrition of elite mobility assets. The Ukrainians depend on their airmobile brigades for counterattacks. Every time those units are degraded, their capacity for rapid maneuver fades.
The center front in Donetsk once again saw heavy action. Can you elaborate?
Yes. The center group remains the most intense theater. We engaged 5 Ukrainian brigades, mechanized, ranger, assault, and airborne, across Ivanovka, Turetskoye, and Krasnoarmeysk. More than 410 Ukrainian servicemen were neutralized, and several Western-made vehicles, including a U.S. Max Pro, were destroyed. The significance here lies in operational exhaustion. Ukraine continues to deploy its elite units in the center, attempting to plug multiple breaches. But the repeated commitment of top-tier forces without rest or reinforcement means those brigades are eroding faster than they can be rebuilt. Strategically, this is the central artery of Ukraine's eastern defense. As it weakens, their ability to sustain coordinated resistance across the theater collapses.
What about the east, Zaporizhia, and surrounding regions?
The East Group is continuing its methodical advance into Ukrainian defensive depth near Pavlovka, Uspanovka, and Poltavka. These are layered defense belts built over many months, and progress here comes through sustained artillery pressure followed by combined arms infiltration. Over 370 Ukrainian soldiers were neutralized, and multiple armored vehicles and a radio-electronic warfare station were destroyed. These EW stations are the enemy's nerve centers. They guide drones and relay target data. Taking them out is akin to blinding a battalion mid-operation. The eastern sector remains crucial. Success here can allow us to link forces between Donetsk and Zaporizhia, effectively creating a continuous operational frontage with flexibility to pivot north or south as needed.
Finally, the Dnieper axis. What progress is being made there?
The Dnipro group maintained focused pressure on Ukrainian heavy and mechanized brigades around Malaya Tokmachka, Olgovka, and Antonovka. Enemy losses were moderate, about 70 personnel, but strategically impactful. What makes this front unique is the riverine environment. Ukrainian forces rely heavily on electronic warfare and bridging coordination to synchronize across both banks of the Dnieper. The destruction of 3 EW stations and 2 ammunition depots undermines that coordination. It is the gradual isolation of one shore from the other, creating vulnerabilities that can be exploited later.
Beyond these individual fronts, what stands out to you about the overall pattern of operations?
The pattern is unmistakable: simultaneous pressure across all axes coupled with systematic deep strikes into Ukraine's logistics and industrial capacity. Air defenses remain formidable. We intercepted HIMARS projectiles, a Neptune missile, and over 300 drones in one cycle. This not only protects our rear, but also sends a clear signal that Western-supplied precision systems are being neutralized faster than they can influence the fight. We are entering what I call the logistical phase of dominance. It's not about seizing large swaths of territory in days. It's about ensuring that by winter, Ukraine cannot move fuel, cannot rearm, and cannot rotate its exhausted brigades. When that point is reached, the battlefield outcome becomes irreversible.
Colonel, thank you for providing such a detailed briefing on the current military situation. Your insights are invaluable to our understanding of the conflict's dynamics. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue to provide up-to-date coverage on global military affairs. Stay with us for more updates and expert analyses on global defense and security issues. Stay informed, stay secure.
Thank you for the opportunity. The liberation of Otradnoye and the positional consolidation across 5 other sectors mark a turning point toward strategic encirclement through exhaustion. The Russian campaign is now balancing kinetic superiority with logistical control, dominating not just the fight, but the sustainment cycle behind it. Ukraine's repeated loss of electronic warfare systems, depots, and mechanized brigades means its command and control architecture is fragmenting. Every intercepted missile, every destroyed depot, accelerates that breakdown. As winter approaches, this attritional posture favors Russia's depth in reserves and infrastructure resilience. What we are witnessing is not a pause, but the quiet tightening of an operational vice.
This has been Frontline Updates. Subscribe for daily military briefings and in-depth strategic analysis. Visit our platform for maps, transcripts, and exclusive frontline updates from commanders in theater.